Hey you guys, and welcome to your weekly Starseed Oracle. So this week I'm going to do things a little differently than I've done in the past. You see, as normal, I have my little good luck charm Goldie here, and this is just a little bit of symbolism for me for growth and change and stepping into my power. It's just a really good symbolism of the growth and the change and all that is going on right now, all that we're being asked to step into. So this week I'm going to do the Starseed Oracle a little differently. We're looking at September 13th through the 20th, and I've actually got three different decks: an angel, a soul truth, and a starseed. So three decks. So you're going to pick deck 1, deck 2, or deck 3, and it will almost be like a little personal reading for you. But I always like to start with sort of how I'm feeling, the messages, and the intuitive hits that I've been getting this week, and I like to share those with you guys before we get started, before we pull cards, because it's really fun to test your intuition and to see how that's in alignment with what the cards say. They're always like right in alignment together. So for this week, September 13th through the 20th, I have felt huge energy shifts. It has been like wham bam, kind of knock you like on your butt energy this week, but that's not bad. I just think that it kind of forces us to rest, forces us to listen to our body. If you try to fight against that, you are not going to be feeling so hot. So I actually slept quite a bit this week. I also was intuitively guided to start back on my adrenal herbal medications that I was given by my doctor a few months ago that I had actually come off of. I felt as though I needed to start them again. So you also want to listen to those intuitive hits with your health and wellness, and allow these deep energy integrations. I have talked about before the magnetics of the earth and how we're getting a lot of cosmic energy right now, a lot of cosmic downloads. We're being asked to upgrade. We're being asked to grow bigger, badder, the best versions of ourselves, like get out of the codependence, like learn to do things on your own. And that's sort of like where we're at. And if you don't step into that huge growth, then you could find yourself missing a really big opportunity right now. So I had the huge energy shifts just to rest and allow. Again, I was guided to start back on adrenal medication. It's herbal, so it's natural. I feel a lot better since doing that. You may be guided to drink more tea. You may be guided to sleep more. You may be guided to sleep less. You may be guided to start on a particular schedule. But regardless of how you're guided this week, really listen to that, because the downloads are coming in, they're coming in strong. There are many of you receiving messages that you've never received before. My awakening, like my big, huge awakening, was in 2007, 2008. That was like the last time we sort of slowed down because the economy crashed. We're going through a very similar thing now, obviously, but much worse, but where, things are really a lot slower than we're typically used to. That can be a nightmare for some people. So just know that from every time in your life that is a slower chapter, or there doesn't seem to be as much movement, keep in mind you're a seed being planted right now, and that it's time for you to rest, relax, maybe regroup, and figure out like who the new you is coming out after this reset, because this is in reality just a huge reset. So think about that as well. I had a huge issue with boundaries this week. I don't know how, after all these years of still practicing this, I still get caught up in, saying yes when I mean no. Saying yes when you mean no is one of the biggest disservices you can do to yourself. So I had a situation this week where I just knew that I was not supposed to go and meet this person. I was not supposed to, be involved with this person energetically. However, I felt like I got put between a rock and a hard place, and I was like, oh, maybe it'll be okay. It was not. Like, I knew internally that that was the way that it was going to be, and that's the way that it was. So really learn to, or try to step into your boundaries right now, because we, again, everyone's energy is shifting, and it seems to be really large extremes, like the extremes of like people doing really, really well and the extremes of people doing really, really bad. So if you're one of those people doing really, really well, you kind of want to keep your distance from those that are not doing so good. So anyways, internally, I knew that I should have said no. I said yes, and I was like, fuck, after it was over, because I was like, I knew better than this, and it took me energetically an entire day to recover, because that person was energy vampiring me. Like, it's a form of energy stealing. So you want to make sure that you stand up for yourself, stand up for your energy, and make sure it's always an equal energy exchange. So you don't ever want to like think like before you go meet with someone, or before you have a meeting, or before you go have lunch, like think to yourself, is this going to be an equal energy exchange? Because if it's not, with everything being so heavy right now, with the shifts happening so quickly, maybe I should protect my own energy and bow out. Like I said, I had a good lesson learned this week. Being happy in the moment. So like I just said a few minutes ago, everything is going to get busy again. It's going to be rocking and rolling probably next year at this time. It's again being really happy with where you're at, because then when greater things are given to you, or when you get past this little hump, you will be so much more appreciative. Law of attraction, law of the universe will give you more, and life will just be better, because you'll be on that snowball of manifestation, as I like to call it. Speaking of manifestation, divine manifestation over willpower manifestation. Willpower manifestation is not going to work anymore. That energy, that we'll see small businesses collapse because of this. We'll see relationships collapse because of this. We're going to see a lot of things karmically coming up with divine manifestation versus willpower manifestation. Divine manifestation, yay. Willpower manifestation, nay. So make sure that with whatever you're asking for, whatever you're trying to manifest, that you ask God, Spirit, universe to help you out, and that you don't try to push that, push things forward with your human self if it doesn't feel right energetically with the universe and God, Spirit, universe. Also divine relationships. We're going to see our relationships go more deep and more divine, or they are going to divide, and that's okay too. So really pay attention to where your relationships are at right now, not just romantically, but with friends and with family. You will want to protect yourself in those ways too. Make sure that all those relationships line up. A lot of people are in transition right now. I would say that right now is not a great time to make a decision about relationships, but just be wary and know where you're standing in the next couple of months, because really that divine versus divide is going to come up in relationships, and you'll be able to make clear decisions sooner rather than later. But I don't think that now is the right time to do that. I think right now is the time to evaluate. Sometimes Deepak Chopra says sometimes it's best to like do little, accomplish everything, and I really go by those rules in my own life, because sometimes you just don't know what to do, so it's best just to like let it play out, and then you'll be able to make a decision later. So that's all that I had right now with my own intuitive hits with my channel writing before we got on for this taping. So let's go to the cards. So you are going to pick, are you a Starseed Oracle? Are you a Soul Truth? Or are you an Angel card? And I'll go in those orders. 1 for the Starseed Oracle, 2 for Soul Truth, and 3 for the Angel deck. And then we'll timestamp those in the beginning. Again, this is the week of September 13th through 20th. However, if you're coming into this reading even a year, 2 years later, 5 years later, that's okay, because you stumbled upon it for a reason, and that means it was meant for you. So pick your deck, 1, 2, or 3, and we're gonna start now. And we'll start with the Starseeds. This is my personal fave, even though I do go through chapters and waves. So let's see what we want the Starseeds to know for this week and to concentrate on. Anytime I'm doing readings, I always call in my higher power, my higher guides, ask them to protect the reading and tell us what we need to know for the highest good of all of us. because these messages help me just as much as they help you. I'm also available for personal and private readings. You can reach out to me down below and book a private reading through the link below. Okay, so we've got 3 cards pulled. Oh my gosh, so funny. So I'm going to start with the Golden Children because I've pulled this one over and over and over again the last, I would say, month. The Golden Children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. Something that I did not mention in this video, but I've mentioned in past videos, is the healing of the inner child is so deep right now. Because as we all know, when we are children, we really, really know who it is that we are, what it is that we want to be in the world, how we want to present ourselves into the world, but then that seems to get squashed, smashed, kaputted from, honestly, crappy adult figures in our life. And we have to figure out how to bring that person back to pass, bring that inner child out, heal. I personally have been doing a meditation recently where I ask for my guides to come in and to help me forgive and to also help me see through the eyes of my adult perpetrators so that I could not be mad about it anymore, but that I could see what their side was. So last night in my meditation, this is funny that this got brought up today because obviously they want me to tell you this story. When I say God, I mean my spirit guides and my light team. Last night during this meditation to heal the inner child, which I have been deeply, deeply working on the last few months in myself, because I do have still quite a bit of anger around that because it still happens now and I'm an adult. So I asked to see through the eyes of my perpetrator. And what they showed me was a very damaged little person themselves. A person that was not given any love to, a person who themselves, their family was not around, there was some addiction, and they showed me a little broken child, and they showed me as the adult. They showed me as the more evolved soul. They showed me as the one who was supposed to take control of this situation and heal it, not because it was okay, but because I am the more mature soul. I am looking now in this meditation and I see this soul of this little itty bitty child who has been broken themselves. So then what did they turn around and do to me? Then they tried to break me. However, I'm a golden child. I'm an indigo child. I cannot be broken because I know inherently who I am, what I'm supposed to do. And do I step off of it sometimes? Yeah, I do, because that crappy voice gets caught up in my head sometimes. But the last 6 months I've been really, really working on stepping into my true self, stepping into my power. Again, Goldie is a representation of this. That's why I like to have her on this, because this is just a really big representation of me actually coming into my own power and coming in to who I am. And that's what we're asking you to do. The guides are saying we're asking you to come into your power, come into who it is that you are. The inner child stuff is huge and crappy and awful, but that they were a much less evolved soul than you, and they're more broken than you are, so they just continued the breaking of souls. It's up to you to stop the breaking of souls. You are where it stops because you are the enlightened one. You are the one who gets it. You are the evolved soul who came here to be a light being, to be a lighthouse, to be a light worker. And so I highly recommend doing the meditation where you count backwards from 100 and you ask your spirit guides to show you, why did this person act this way? Why did they treat me this way when I was only 4 or 5 years old, or 2 years old, or 1 year old, whatever it may be. Ask them to show you, and they will. Mine showed me a very, very broken little person themselves who then actually stayed stuck in that, did not evolve any higher than, a 5-year-old themselves, but is out living as an adult in the world, which is crazy town, but there's a lot of that going on. So you as the golden child, Starseed, you as the evolved being, you have to be the one to stop it. Ask your guides to show you what it is. think a lot of you are going to be in the same position as me, where it's just that you were the evolved soul and you came here to get shit done. And in that process of that, you had to have, someone who was toxic towards you or abused you or, whatever it may have been. But that's what made you who you are today. And that's actually a huge part of your strength. So we want you to step into that, and we want you to step out of victimhood and step into empoweredness. And again, Goldie represents this for me. I am trying to do this more and more every day. Okay, so ask to be shown so that you can forgive it, so you can heal it, so you can transmute it. Loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. So what does this mean? There are some of you Starseeds out there who were attracted to deck 1 on this reading. You're trying to handle it all yourself. What have I been talking about this entire last 5 minutes? My light team, my guides, my spirit, whomever it may be. We have to remember that we're not in this alone. We're given helpers on this earthly plane. We're given helpers in the light realm. Another thing I want to talk about that they're saying right now is a lot of you are seeing the 222s and the 444s and the 1111s and the 111s. Those are DNA activating codes. They are trying to get your attention because as of right now, you cannot hear them, or you are not getting the downloads in the way somebody like me or someone else who's been studying this for years and years and years, you are able to get the clear downloads. So they're showing you right now in the numbers, they're showing you in the songs on the radio, they're showing you in the overheard conversations in the grocery store. They're showing you and they're giving you your little guides and your little hints as to what it is that you're supposed to do next. You have to remember that you're not in this alone, and you don't have to take things all on yourself, all on your shoulders. I also want you to not drink things away, and I want you to not smoke weed things away. We don't want you to fall into trying to, and I love plant medicine, so I'm not taking that away. I don't think drinking is good for anyone. I'm just going to say it. Drinking does not open up anything for anyone. Drinking brings in spirits, and not necessarily always the good one. The herbals, they bring in the spirits and they bring in the guides, but like higher evolved beings. So I want to make sure that like you understand, if you're drinking your thoughts and feelings and, sort of your misery away, then you could very much be like dampening your intuition, dampening your messages, dampening your guides, which sucks because they're going to take you to the highest place that you can possibly get in your life. So if you've got a lot of downtime right now and you're drinking a lot, try to move that energy towards something else. Like I was put on a few weeks ago, I was put on kava for anxiety. I went to my naturopath and I said, I'm having anxiety. I've gone down the rabbit hole with the conspiracy theories. Like, you got to help me. I've since kind of stepped out of all that because, as we all know, things are there. We need to be aware of them as light workers, but however, we do not have to stay in that energy and stay in that space. When people send me the shit all day long on my phone, I hit delete, 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 and I say thank you, but I'm not going there anymore because it made me have to get like on anti-anxiety medications because I'm so sensitive. And again, kava is like a natural antidepressant, anti-anxiety. So there are things that are natural that you can do, but don't dampen it with alcohol. That's like the biggest message that I'm getting right now. Like, alcohol is really, I think is used as another system of control. It's not meant to uplift you. It's a depressant. It's made to depress you. There are reasons why that is legal and other things are not. But that's getting into a whole other situation, so we won't go there. But, understand that you're divinely guided. Understand that you have helpers. Ask for help. We are in, for my Starseeds, you came here feeling alone. I was 2 months premature. I was like barely 4 pounds and in an incubator, a bubble in 1981 for 2 months all by myself. you know, so nobody could touch me, so I came here feeling alone. Like I felt alone my entire life until, you know, I eventually met my twin flame, and we've been through it, you know, trying to figure out that relationship, because twin flames bring up all your freaking shadows. So like, your team is by your side for a reason to help you, but we're living in free will, so they cannot come in unless you ask. So my prayer for my spirit guides, my light team, I go, hey guys, where the heck you want me? Show me where you want me and what you want me to do, because I don't know. I'm not getting clear guidance. Maybe I have anxiety. You know, I'm just not clear right now, so give me some signs. And they will. But I want you to be really careful with the alcohol. That's like the big thing that there should, or nicotine, or like things like that, which everybody has a vice. Believe me, I'm not saying I am perfect in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying be wary of the things, even food. Yeah, food is a big one. I've seen so many people gain so much weight over like all of this like integration time over the last 6 months with COVID. And the reason why people are gaining weight is because they can't deal with the energetic change, because you have to like feel it, be it, allow it, integrate it. And if you don't know why you're feeling some type of way, then you're going to want to put on the physical to deflect. But let me tell you something, if you can move into that light body, if you can move into like that true star seed of who you are, you're going to be much better off. So follow that. And watch the food and watch the alcohol, watch the depressors that sort of block all your own intuition. Yeah, and trust in you, God, spirit, universe, whatever it is that you believe in, like trust in that, because they're there to help you. So the last one for the star seeds is messenger. It's Sirius energy, Sirius the star, bringing harmony and balance. So if you can get quiet during this time, if you can tune in during this time, if you can step in a soul's path during this time. Like I have been wanting to start a YouTube for probably 10 years, and it had just never, I don't know, I never had the time, or I never had the energy, or I never felt inspired. There's always like something. And then during this time, for whatever reason, it's like, yep, you're ready, sister. Like, let's go. And I just haven't had any problem getting out content. The second I step in front of a camera, typically the first few months are like a little, first few moments are a little shaky until I get, like when I'm on here by myself, until I get going. But then the downloads start happening and I get going and I forget the camera's even there, and I'm just channeling and talking and saying what's being downloaded to me. So they're saying to me now, like, if you can get through this tough time, if you can integrate, if you can ask for the light codes, ask for more signs. If you're one of those seeing 222, 444, 1111, first of all, Google it if that's happening to you and find out what the light codes mean. 1111 was my light code. It still is. Like when I'm in the groove and things are like, when I'm like on the path, like it's like 111, 1111, 111, 1111. And then this week actually got a new light code, which was 222s, which I've never gotten before. So that tells me that I'm stepping into spirit more. I'm stepping more into a soul path, and I'm listening better than I have in the past. So they're like, okay, so let's give you some more. Like you're doing good with the 111s. Let's go into the 222s and like, let's see where we can get you. So if you can trust, if you can enjoy the quiet, like, I'm sorry, when does the earth ever slow down like this? Like enjoy, integrate, like channel right. Like before I get on and do these, I always say like, okay, what do you want me to talk about? And like I go through and I channel some messages. You know, whatever it is to you, dream right. Keep a journal by your bed and dream journal. Like for whenever you first wake up, there's lots of us that get messages in our dreams. I'm not one of those people, but again, it's the songs on the radio. It's may see a random message on Facebook that's not even for you, but it's your message. Or you may be called to do something Like me, like I was called to go back to wrestling last year after 8 years out of the business and being a full-time model during that time and working in medical aesthetics. So it's like after all those years, like God's Spirit Universe is like, okay, go back to this. Like we want you to finish that. And we want you to finish it in a way that you're really proud of, was the message that I got. And look what happened. Got Goldie for the first time in my life. So, it's really fun and really interesting when you get on like the soul's path and it just leads you to these amazing places. So that was the reading for the Starseeds for this week. Now we're going to go on to group 2, which is the Soul Truth. I love these cards too. All of these are linked in my Amazon must-haves, which are also linked below. And I'll just repeat and say that I do private sessions, I do private readings, and I do private energy healing. I'm an energy healer at my core because energy healing just transmuted my life in ways that I cannot even, this is a whole nother episode. So those things do work through time and space and through the phone and through the internet. I try to do the transmissions here and now. Like that's why you see me do like this a lot, because I'm shooting the energy at you because I want you to feel all the goodness and all the transmissions and all the changes that I have personally been through that people that knew me like 15 years ago would not even know who the person I am today is. They're like, you look younger, you look better, you're skinnier, like what is going on with you? And it's because I got in touch with spirit, man, and I haven't left because it's so good that like when you get on this path, like when you get in this vibe, you're like, yeah, I'm not leaving. And now I have to share it with others. So again, this is group number 2. We're doing the soul path. For group number 2, let's see what Spirit has to say. Okay, so the first one, what am I waiting for? Someone else to do it for me. So now is really a time of, yes, are we co-creating with other people? Yes, but we're being asked to come into our own individual power. I've had a lot of people ask me lately, like, oh, hey, you want to do this with me? Oh, hey, you want to do this with me? Yeah, I'll do it with you maybe like once, and like we can like team up on this thing like once or twice, but like it's about me now. It's about my soul's path. It's about me stop being codependent, because my entire life I've done things in groups. My entire life I've done things codependently, but I never like came out as Kristen. I never came out as Krissy because I wasn't like quite brave enough. Like now is the time. It's not the time to co-create with groups. You can, but like don't make it your main thing. Now is about you. Now is about you coming into your power, into your grace, into your path that you prayed for and have been asking for all this time. But it takes a lot of bravery to do that. It is not easy. Do you think it was easy for me to get up and start wrestling again at 38 years old? No, it wasn't. It wasn't easy for me to go to the wrestling school when everybody else is 20, 21, 22, and I'm 38 years old. But I'm like, I don't know, something just told me to do this. Like, I can't tell you why I'm here. People would ask me why I'm there, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, something just told me, and they just go, okay. So don't wait on somebody else to live your life for you. You have to live your life for you, or your life will not get lived, because no one else knows what's in your heart, what's in your soul, what's in your DNA, like what it is that you came here to do. No one else knows that except for you. And you can feel it on a cellular level. Some of you are feeling it actually now for the first time since you were kids. Feeling on a cellular level, like the changes, like what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to be? Step into it. Channel write if you need to. Dream journal if you need to. Go see, I used to see a lot of like psychics and mediums and angel readers and soul readers and, people like me. I used those people tons in the beginning because I couldn't see it for myself. So it was really, really helpful to have like mentors and guides along the way, because they would give me just a little bit of steam I needed to step in the right path and like get in that vibration to take the next chapter. Now I don't see those types of people near as much as I used to. About once a year, I go see another psychic or another medium. But because I know so much myself, I don't really need anybody to tell me. So are you waiting on someone else before you can take the big leap? What if you were to take life into your own hands and forge your own unique path? Put your heart into action and ask yourself, what risk can you take to move towards your dreams? Make a decision and do it. No more waiting for others. Do it scared, take the leap. So I don't think any of us have ever been more scared. This was like how I felt a few months ago. I've never been more scared than I was when all this stuff first came out with like the pandemic and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, if I died tomorrow, which, you know, there was a certain point where I was like, oh man, these numbers are crazy. Like what's happening? Like where I was like, if I died tomorrow, would I be pissed off that like I didn't do what I'm really here to do? Yes, I would. I was working a job that was not in resonance with me. It was a great job, but it just wasn't in resonance with me. And I stayed there for like a year and like a half almost, like just because it was like a paycheck, which I know there are things that we have to do sometimes as adults, but take like one little action step towards your soul. And then that will snowball into more things that resonate with your soul. And then it's of resonance, of resonance, of resonance, of resonance. Right now, we're moving into an energy where we're only going to be able to do things of resonance. I have been asked lately, are you going to go back into the spa? And I say never, but I don't see it right now because there's more important things for me to do than skin and, you know, Botox and that type of thing right now. Like there's more important things on the path of my soul. Do I still love all that? All the beauty, all the Botox, all the things? Yes, love all of it. But there are people here who that's their path. I do not feel as though that's my path, even though that's something that I'm really good at. It's about levels of importance and levels of resonance right now. Okay? So don't wait on other people to do it for you. You have to be brave right now. And this is really hard for like people with like a lot of Aquarius in their chart. Like I have a lot of Aquarius in my chart. So I love my Aquariuses, but they like to work together in groups, which is wonderful. Co-create on some things, but then step into your bravery. Co-create on some things. Step into your bravery. That's how this YouTube channel started 2 months ago. I was like going to my little Aquarius, South Node energy. Let's co-create with others. And then the more that I got in front of the camera, the more that I did, Spirit was like, no, we would like for you to get into the front of the camera, and we would like for you to be on. Sweating. When like I do this shit because the coming like through so fast I can barely get out in time. So just really listen. And if you feel like doing something, as long as it's safe, as long as it's not hurting anyone, which that's a huge thing right now. Like as long as you're not hurting anybody, do it. Because what we all learned 6 months ago is that our lives can be taken away from us just like that. You should be living towards happiness for you. Am I getting enough rest to restore my energy and show up fully in life? This is a huge one, and this one actually went back with what I said in the first, 10 minutes of this video when the downloads were coming just through my channel writing and through the message that I had been given this week. You gotta rest to manifest. You have to rest to integrate all of these energies. The magnetics around this earth is all but disappearing. The shield around this earth is all but disappearing that protects us, or that's not a good word, but that's the only word I can think of right now, protects us from the cosmic dust, from the solar flares, from the whatever. We have all these sunspots right now blasting off all these solar flares towards us into our little like energy bodies. So they're like downloading all the little light codes from the sun or like because we're little galactic beings, and we've got your angel spirit guides and the galactic beings and light beings, and they're really all trying to come in right now to communicate. So there's all these really dense energy upgrades coming in. I said a few minutes ago in the last reading that I started taking my adrenal supplements again because I felt called to. I am sleeping most nights right now. I have a toddler, but I am sleeping most nights right now. It's not that. It's the energy upgrades on the body. You also have to make sure, I said this in the last reading too for group 1, so many people put on so much weight during this last 6 months, and it's because they don't recognize the energy that's being shot down into them. So rather than using the light, which is literally light energy from the sun coming in, rather than using that and like integrating it and being like, yes, I'm gonna come into like my highest like light body that has ever existed in this human form, they're like, what the fuck is this? So like, I don't want to feel this, I don't want to feel this. So they're eating, I don't want to feel this, eating it, or drinking. So you want to be really careful with the what you're putting into your body, because you don't want to block the energy, because then it's just going to get stuck. Energy always has to be moving. So you want to keep that energy moving, and how you keep that energy moving is by keeping the body clean. I am all for plant medicine, should one call to you. And herbals, should one call to you, teas. I don't think you have to be perfect. I like Coke Zero. I have Diet Coke, these things. But my diet, I do a lot of fasting, and my diet is mostly clean, and I don't eat a lot of animal products. That may be something else that's coming up right now that they're, okay. So they're saying that might be hard for you to digest and hard for you to process with the new light upgrades and with the new, energies coming in. It may get caught here and may disrupt in the root and the sacral, which we do not want to happen, because we want all of our energy bodies clear right now so that we can step into the light body, into the integrations, and so that we can become who it is that we're fully meant to be, because this is really truly a reset. We've never had, the planets have never been aligned like this before in our entire lives. We've never had this little protection around the earth. We've never had, the solar flares coming at us the way that they're coming at us, which is just pure light code. Pure light code coming down to help the earthly existence so that we can help ourselves, because we've dug ourselves into a shitstorm down here. And they want to help us out of it, and they're going to help us out of this by upgrading our minds, upgrading our bodies, upgrading our thoughts, upgrading our children. These children coming in right now are so special. These COVID children, watch, wait and see. So we have to make sure that we're resting enough, we're sleeping enough, we're not the old paradigm, which is completely collapsing, of like I gotta go work 80 hours a week to get ahead and rah. Like, okay, you can work hard when you're inspired to work hard, and when you're inspired, and I do believe in setting a schedule. I'm a Capricorn sun. I set a schedule for this YouTube every week, but I'm not killing myself doing it. If I'm scheduled for it on Friday, yet I'm open for it on Saturday, which is what happened this week, but I felt as though I needed to give my herbals a little bit more time to kick in with my adrenals, because I was feeling so lack of energy, that I said, okay, well, I don't have anything. The oracle readings go up on Sunday night, so we can shoot it on Saturday. That still gives us enough time to edit and upload and get the message out there in plenty of time. So I'm still working. I'm just not working in the way that I'm typically used to working, especially as a Capricorn sun. It really slowed my schedule down, and really, not by choice. We were all sort of forced into it. But I really slowed my schedule down and really listening to my body. Also, like on the clothing that I wear. I'm now like guided on the clothing that I wear every time I do one of these. So like now I'm in gypsy pants and a little crop top. Sometimes I'm in dresses. Sometimes they tell me the night before what they want me to wear based upon what chakra they want us to concentrate on. So, all of those things matter, like when you're living a fully integrated, fully heart-centered, fully light being. And again, I'm not perfect. It's a lot of work on my end when you're really working with those energies. And so we have to rest So this body is your vehicle. Notice how your body is feeling, how much sleep you're getting, and what you can do to help your body rest. Essential oils are really good, like integration tools. Crystals are really good integration tools. You can keep like crystals. I like black obsidian, I like lavender, like I like carnelian, like when I'm working on like the root chakra. You can keep those things bedside and keep those things near you during this integration. Don't overeat, don't block your blessings, because these are blessings, these light codes that are coming in. Don't think you're going crazy. I've had a few people like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. I see 1111 every single time I leave the house. I look up, I look at my phone, I look at the microwave, and it's there. And I'm like, yes, because they are trying to speak to you, because right now you are not matured enough in your spirituality to get the downloads direct. So they come at you how they can. It's exactly how I started with the 1111s in 2008. I'll never forget it because I thought I was a crazy person. And then the last one for group number 2 with the soul reading. Am I clear on what my soul really wants? Take out the shoulds, take out the limitations, get out of your head, and pay attention to your heart's desires. If you knew it was impossible to fail, what would you do? Where would you go? And where would you go with all of your heart? We're leaving, again, the old paradigm where it was like a push system, you know, and we're going into a heart-centered system. Like, it's a completely fucking collapsing. That whole paradigm is completely collapsing, and we have all these tools, and we have all these like YouTube and, you know, Instagram and our phones, and we have all these ways where we can be us and get paid for it. You can build a heart-centered business that helps people and never actually leave your home, which is another really good thing for people who are highly sensitive or soul-based people, because you often are so sensitive that you're like, shit, I cannot leave my home that much. I really like being at home. It's my safe space. Because you're supposed to work there and you will thrive the best there. Like, I live on the water. Like, it's freaking beautiful. I never hardly want to leave my house unless I have a show or a performance, or, you know, we're going to go have a nice dinner or something. Like, otherwise, I am perfectly happy in my little waterfront little place, because it is just heaven on earth. So also, it's important to find, they just told me to mention, it's important to find your soul space. You cannot live a soul-based life if you do not have your soul, if you're not living in your soul space. So if your place of residence or place of living, even geographically, does not resonate with you, you got to shift that and you got to make it resonate. This is like a crazy story. The places that I live right now, which I was told like, oh, that's not the best area of town, blah, 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 whatever, for years before we actually lived here, was my wallpaper on my computer in 2008, because I thought that this was the most beautiful place I'd ever seen in my entire life, and I knew I wanted to live there, and I was right. And I eventually got myself here. So rest, soul, people. Don't wait on anybody else to do it for you, soul people. And get clear on what it is that you really want. If you don't have clear intentions, then the universe gets jibble-jabbled by your vibration. Everything is vibration. So even if you're not 100% clear on what you want, like say for me, I don't have attachment to how things happen. I go, you know, I really like performing. I really like wrestling. Really like doing YouTube. I really like, you know, helping people. Like, you know, help me be abundant in that way, but I'm not really attached to how it happens. So you can set your intentions as to what it is that you want to do, but just maybe not how it happens. But it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to like do an exact plan, because that's not giving God, Spirit, Universe the ability to help you create, but set clear intentions of where it is that you think you want to go. And then that way it will manifest a little easier, a little smoother. Again, I do personal readings. I work with people personally. I'll link that below if you guys want to book a session. And then my last but not least is my angel deck and my angel people. And this deck is so super special to me because this is the deck that I started with 12 years ago when I started doing this type of work. So this deck is super duper special. So this is for group number 3. If you were called to group number 3, the angel deck, this reading is for you. Again, like always, I'm going to clear. I'm going to set our intentions. And I don't like to do my readings too far out, a week or so, 2 weeks at the most. I just don't do them too far out because I like pragmatic action. So we'll see what our intentions need to be for the coming week for my group number 3 with the angel cards. Okay, so this is all about sensitivity, guys. My angel group is really, really, really super sensitive. This is my highly sensitive people. If you guys don't have the Gaia app, it's like Netflix, but for the soul. There is a movie on there with Alanis Morissette, and it's called Sensitive, and it is the best movie that I have seen on highly sensitives because I am this. And you're literally an antenna, so you're taking on everything when you're a highly sensitive. So it's only about 20% of the population. It's very, I won't say it's hard to come to terms with, but I will say that people don't understand it as much because it is such a small percentage. I like pure silence. I don't like loud noises. I don't like it, which is funny because I'm a performer, but that's different because that's in that environment. In my own environment, I like peace, quiet, candles, essential oil, no TV, maybe a little YouTube, but quiet. Very protective of my space. So the first angel card is emotional sensitivity. Emotional sensitivity is something that we're not taught as children. We're taught to just ignore things, just push it under the rug, like whatever. Don't be sensitive. Don't cry at that movie. Don't get offended by that statement. Yes, you can. Because again, old paradigm falling away. Emotional sensitivity is going to be one of the most powerful tools going into the 5th dimension, which is where we're headed. It's going to be one of the most powerful tools going into the 5th dimension because it's all intuition, empathic, feeling your way through things. The only way that we're going to get through things easily in the next 10 to 15 years is intuitively, psychically feeling your way through. So guess what, my emotional sensitivity peoples? You are the best at this if you learn how to hone it, because you know what you feel in your gut, and if you can hone into that and allow it and remove any type of feelings that your parents made you feel around, being sensitive, friends made you feel around being sensitive, you will feel your way into the 5D beautifully, but you have to learn how to hone and accept. You will need a lot more rest than the typical person. You just will. You need a lot more rest, a lot more downtime, potentially a lot more sleep. You have to, there are some days where I sleep 14 hours. My husband just has to deal with it. I just will get up, I'll get up with my kid, I'll make sure my husband is up, and I'll say, I can't get up right now, I need more rest. It has not been enough rest for me. Can you handle this for the next few hours? And he'll say, yeah, go ahead, go back to bed. He has just learned that in the way that I am such an antenna, in the way that I know what someone is thinking, doing, being, their intentions, everything, before even a word has come out of their mouth, it takes a lot out of me. I have to rest. You can hear my allergies now acting up because I'm about 15 minutes into talking with the whole video in general. And it's now, because I've been channeling now for about 15 minutes, it's starting to take it out of me. So I'll have to go rest after this because I've been channeling for 50 minutes. But allow your emotional sensitivity, allow what is, listen to it, hone it, get yourself an oracle deck. I keep a few of my favorites in the Amazon must-haves down below, or get on, the internet and find some that call to you, because what calls to you may not be what calls to me. Get out, ground a lot in nature, lots of walks out in nature. Have you asked your angels for help? We live in the free will world, guys. If you don't ask for help, they don't just step in unless it's a life or death thing. So they want to help. They want to be a part of your team. I always say my light team because I can feel them. I ask them for help with parking spaces. I'm like, okay, we're going to the mall. I need for you to help me find a front closed parking space. They always do. Ask any of my friends who ever ride with me anywhere if I always get the best parking everywhere I go. And that's because I've asked the light team before we even get there, calmly on the way, not in stress once I get there and there is no parking. Calmly on the way, I'll say, okay, spirit guides, we're going to a place that's typically very busy. Help me find a parking space. So they want to help you. They want to step in, but they can't unless you ask. So however it is that you feel comfortable asking, I just always say it in my head, and and they always show up, or they'll give me a sign. And all this is related to your heart chakra, because you want to stream all of your intuition, all of your gifts, everything that comes out of your mouth, especially from a place of intuition, needs to first be streamed through the heart chakra, because if it's not, it may not come out correctly. I did a video a few weeks ago. I attempted to do a video on generational cycles a few weeks ago. I had to do it twice, because the first time that I channeled, I was actually coming through my root chakra. I was not coming through my heart chakra, so it came off angry, controlling, just not from a good space, not helpful to anyone. So I had to redo it, stream it through my heart chakra, and then the second time it came out well, and I was able to put it out on the internet. You can connect your heart and your throat to make sure that that you always speak in a way that is kind and loving. That's another thing that me personally, I've really worked on in the last 10 years or so, is making sure that what comes out of the mouth is connected through the heart. And even if because I'm very truthful, even if I say something that is maybe not what somebody's going to want to hear, it comes from a place of love and sincerity, that people can't get mad at. People can't get mad at you if you're coming from your heart space. So just ask your guides to connect your heart and your throat and make sure that all comes out together and in one. So for my group number 3, my angel people, your emotional sensitivity is so important to your path. Your path, because this is probably hindered you so much. Again, look at what's happening to me right now. I've been doing this for 50 some minutes and my allergies are acting up. It has hindered you in the past because you don't know how to channel it in a way that doesn't completely drain you. And again, I'm working on this too, because I haven't gotten to the point where I can do this, back to back to back to back to back and not get a little bit drained. You can see my body breaking down literally right before your very eyes right now with my allergies that were not there 30 minutes ago. But again, that's the time to rest. That's the time to retreat. That's the time to ask for guidance. I was guided to my naturopath, who has helped me immensely with this, but I still am on some allergy meds because I'm just really a very, very sensitive person. And when you're an antenna, you pick up everything. So I would say to my number 3 people, let me see how they want me to word this. I would say to my number 3 people, for you, because you're such an antenna, you actually don't have to try very hard. Things just show up, because for you, trying very hard is going to drain you. So for you, just being open instead of being shut completely down, because that's typically what we do. We shut ourselves down with food or, living situation or like whatever it may be, you shut yourself down because the world feels dangerous. So like try to open yourself up, try to bloom just a little bit and see what presents itself. I wouldn't say to my highly sensitives, to my angel deck, to go out and like try to conquer the world because you don't have that kind of personality. They're saying to me that like for you guys, like everything just shows up, like everything just manifests. Like you just always know when it's time to like make the right move, but don't get into any of that like harder energy, especially right now with Mars in Aries retrograde. Mars and Aries are like warriors. So, and they're at home together in those planets. So that can feel like a push to like have to do something or have to be somewhere, have to, no. For my group number 3, for my highly sensitives, for my angel people, I actually don't want you to push for anything. I want you to like rest into it, relax into it, because then it's going to show up. Then when you feel inspired, yes, then move. But don't go, oh, everybody else is pushing forward, I have to. You don't. So that's my message for you. That's it. There's like the one theme for you, like all the cards, like emotional sensitivity, highly sensitive. So you're heavily affected right now. Maybe right now is just a time for you to rest, relax, recoup of after what, 30 years, 35 years, 25 years of like earthly trauma, like just from like being out in the world as a highly sensitive person. So now for you, maybe it's just a rest. Maybe you got furloughed from your job, so you're getting a little bit of like, monetary compensation so you can rest right now. Why not do it and see what presents itself? Again, there's such an inner purity from the highly sensitives. They're like that purity just attracts when it's happy, healthy, whole. So that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. This is again for the week of September 13th through the 20th, 2020. However, if you stumbled upon this video a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and you said, okay, well, I picked group number 1 or group number 2 or group number 3, that reading is still for you because everything happens and it's all divinely guided. So I'm sending you guys lots of love, lots of feel-good energy. Take the upgrades, take the gifts that we're being given right now in the slowness, like take that and relax into it and allow and really step into that soul healing, that soul path, that inner child healing. And we'll see you next week. Sending you lots of love. This is Krissy Vaine signing off. Bye guys.